Tylenol, Advil, Purina, and Haribo face urgent FDA recall. Thousands of everyday products across many categories affected by the latest recall. While a car recall is one notice I never ignore. Are you not supposed to ignore your car recalls? That's something you're supposed to pay attention to? I can't ever remember throwing out a single food or beverage or pet food product because of a recall. Hundreds of food recalls happen each year, so they can be hard to keep track of. Even though I follow the FDA's recall notice page and read about recalls every day. In the case of a current recall, the list of recalled products is so long, it would take quite an effort to go through every drawer and cabinet in my kitchen, bathrooms, and the extra refrigerator in my garage. Apparently, I'm not alone. A small minority of people actually pay attention to most recalls, which food experts say is a mistake. Only 13% of Americans have ever visited a government website for food recall information, and just 3% are subscribed to emails or text alerts. Behavioral scientist and professor at Rutgers University, William Hallman, said at the May 2025 Food Safety Summit. 13% of Americans are responsible for 50% of the informed deliveries of getting rid of products that are recalled. But the latest recall, a widespread warehouse contamination, has prompted the FDA to recall thousands of everyday products. The products include medication and pet food, soft drinks, and candy, and all seem unrelated. What they have in common is that they were stored in the same distribution facility in Minnesota. Why is it always Minnesota? What the fuck is happening here? The new recall affects brand name products like Tylenol, Aleve, and Advil, candy, including Haribo gummy bears, Sour Patch candies, and Twix, beverages such as Welch's grape juice and Coffee Mate, as well as Purina dog and cat food, among many other categories. Gold Star Distribution, LLC, a wholesale distributor based in Minnesota, issued the recall on December 26th due to the presence of rodent and avian contamination at its Minneapolis facility. Wait, not only was this in Minnesota, it was specifically Minneapolis. Literally the core hole of corruption. Literally just a giant pit to Shibalba.
Oh, great.
The recall was not issued by the manufacturers themselves, but applies only to products stored at or distributed through Gold Star's Minneapolis facility. Products held under insanitary conditions may become contaminated through contact with contaminated surfaces or exposure to airborne particles associated with animal waste. What is this paragraph break? Why is it structured that way? Exposure to contaminated products can pose serious health risks to consumers, including the potential for bacterial contamination, which may result in illness or infection. There it is again. Why does it do that? Including salmonella. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration determined that the facility was operating under insanitary conditions, including the presence of rodent excreta, rodent urine, and bird droppings in an area where medical devices, drugs, human food, pet food, and cosmetic products were held, according to the official FDA statement. Even when a recall gets widespread media attention like this one, many consumers don't take action. When companies use phrases like out of an abundance of caution or no illnesses reported to date, it can make it sound like the situation is not urgent. In this case, though? Don't they mean although? What in the AI? Experts say the scale of the recall, one that includes more than 2,000 items, makes it worth the effort. Consumers who live in the affected states will want to check their cupboards and refrigerators because contamination occurred at the distribution level rather than during manufacturing. The following list is just a sample of the products affected. See the full list on this FDA alert, which includes lot numbers and sell-by dates, and that's where we're gonna fucking go. This is 44 fucking pages of recalled items because of contamination at a Minneapolis warehouse. 44 pages! Holy shit! How is, Maha not glowing over this? I feel like you absolutely should. This is kind of insane. Kind of fucking insane. Oh no, not the contaminated Black Bull male supplements? What the fuck are you talking about? What in the fuck? This says like Pringles. Oh, Red Bull male supplement. What the fuck? What are Red Bull male supplements? What the fuck? Kitty cat sensual enhancement? Hold on. What the hell is even that? We made the kitty cat with 100% authentic and top quality Royal honey cultivated in the USA. The specialty blend of royal honey is designed to increase sexual pleasure and performance. Kitty cat also promotes better lubrication and more frequent orgasms. I feel so bad for women who need to use this. What the hell? It's a sexual stimulant. Get the most out of your orgasms. Royal honey increases arousal, physical pleasure, and leads to a more intense climax every time. I feel like if I had a more intense climax, I would literally just pass out every time. Like, what the hell do you mean? It's fast acting and long lasting with the kitty cat. Less is more. One sachet will give you the results you want for longer than you might expect. Sensations last up to 72 hours. That seems kind of dangerous. Don't they tell men that, like, if a boner lasts that long, you should go to a doctor? Take 1 kitty cat honey sachet 1 hour before sexual activity to aid energy, libido, and sexual performance. Yeah, I don't think I will. That is a wild product. I have never heard of, like, female enhancement. And they actually have, like, a cat woman on the package. It's like a discount cat woman. Make the kitty go silly, and the word silly is like blurred as if it's moving very quickly. That's so funny. What stores were the FDA recalled products distributed to, dear FDA? Here we go. Gold Star Distribution Inc. issues recall of certain FDA-regulated products in 3 states, including drugs, devices, cosmetics, human foods, and pet food. Company announcement date is December 26th. Product type, animal and veterinary, cosmetics, dietary supplements, drugs, food and beverages, medical devices, foodborne illnesses. Reason for announcement, potential salmonella contamination, presence of rodent and avian contamination, and insanitary. Hey, they're using insanitary too. Fucking color me incorrect. I guess insanitary and unsanitary are both words. Gold Star Distribution, multiple brands. All FDA-regulated products held at a facility. Okay. Minneapolis, Gold Star Distribution is recalling all FDA-regulated products listed in this press release due to presence of rodent and avian contamination. Persons handling or consuming the products could become seriously ill due to adulteration from pests, including rodents, birds, and insects. The FDA determined the facility was operating under insanitary conditions, including the presence of rodent excreta, rodent urine, and bird droppings in an area where medical devices, drugs, human food, pet food, and cosmetic products were held. Blah, blah, blah. We've read this. These are the products that are recalled. Does it say? The recalled products were distributed to some or all of the following stores. And they have stores listed in Minneapolis, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester, Minneapolis, Burnsville, Bloomington, Eden Prairie, St. Paul, Brooklyn Park. Hey, we learned about Brooklyn Park the other day. Didn't Brooklyn Park have, like, more, was it daycare centers than, like, Minneapolis proper? Even though Brooklyn Park had only, like, 86,000 residents and Minneapolis had, like, hundreds of thousands. Never taken the gas station kitty pills again. What does a halal store need Viagra for? Also, yeah, there is the halal foods market. That's really interesting that we had an article about specifically halal foods being impacted by some sort of different warehousing. And now we have this one. And yeah, the company names African Halal Deli, Afric Store, Aim Mart International Market, Ainu Shams Halal Food, Ashama Grocery, Baraka Grocery, Brothers Imports, Caspian Bistro Restaurant, Central Market, Cliff Halal Market, Clinton Halal Market, Desi Brothers, Durdur Market. Someone told me Durdur Market was a real place. I would call them a racist, so I mean, fuck me, I guess. Elliott Market, EP Mart, Ethio Market, Easy Stop Food Mart, Fargo Halal Market, Friendly Grocery and Deli, Gailey Groceries. I do go get my groceries gaily. Goink Trading, Halal Foods, Halal Mini Market, Jerusalem Market, Jimmy's Food, Callie's Adult Daycare Center? Hold up, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. There's an actual daycare center up in here. Something is smelling fishy by the moment about this Gold Star Distribution Center. The Leering Center, Kimmy's Grocery Store, Kiss Mayo Discount Store, Kiss Mayo Halal, La Picante Market, Lake Street Market, McKnight Shell Gas, Shell, Midwest Market, Milton Halal, Minneapolis Halal, Minnesota Halal, MZ Market, Oasis Market in Delhi, Asari Trading, Palms Market, Pangea World Market, Panja Brothers, Peace Market. Yes, brothers, it's the market of peace. Kalinle Family Grocery, Chabelle Grocery, St. Paul Grocery, Star Foods, Star Ocean? Like, the video game? Sudamic Import and Export Inc., Sunray Halal Market, Supa Plaza Halal Foods, TBS International Market, Vientiane Oriental Market, and West Bank Market. Well, alright, it looks like recalled products were distributed to some or all of the following stores. Okay. So if this is a comprehensive list of all the stores affected, at least it's not like this distribution center went out of state. So it seems like the corruption and contamination is insulated to the black hole of Xibalba as it is. So that's one white pill here. You smell fraud? Yeah, there's something weird here, man. Products covered by this recall include all drugs, medical devices, cosmetics, dietary supplements, and human and animal pet food products. Recall does not apply to products shipped directly to retail and convenience stores by the distributor or manufacturer, such as all frozen and refrigerated items. Consumers and retailers who purchase the affected products should destroy them and verify such instruction by a receipt provided to Gold Star, blah, blah, blah. Customers should contact their physician and healthcare provider if you have questions, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of wild. I can't believe that there's like an adult daycare center put in here. I am definitely very curious about what is happening at this market. I wonder if I should make a tweeter and I should tag fucking Nick Shirley and be like, hey, check out the Gold Star fucking distribution center, man. Tim Walz over here quote retweeting someone that said, Donald Trump is now reposting videos on Truth Social suggesting that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz had Melissa Hortman assassinated. This is objectively evil and calling it out should not be political. Well, I think you should be able to ask questions, right? It does seem a little weird that Melissa Hortman was assassinated and she was the one Democrat to break the ranks and vote against giving more healthcare benefits to illegals. There are some people that were saying that she voted against fraud. Please keep it accurate. It wasn't about fraud. It was about giving more healthcare benefits to illegal immigrants, or keeping their healthcare benefits, and she voted against it. And Tim Walz quote retweeted this saying, dangerous, depraved behavior from the sitting president of the United States. In covering for an actual serial killer, he is going to get more innocent people killed. America is better than this. Yeah, the guy was kind of schizophrenic, but the guy also, for some reason, said Tim Walz made him do it. And it's like, now we kind of gotta wonder, okay, maybe is it schizophrenia? Is it mental illness? Or is there something there we should be asking about? And then Nick Shirley responded. Nick Shirley said, why was she killed after speaking out against illegal migrants? Was she a threat to you and your fraudster scheme? Rip to Melissa Hortman. And I thought it was really interesting to have Nick Shirley say this in response to Tim Walz. It was a very interesting thing. And then Tim Walz quote retweeted him and said, my opponents have been celebrating this far-right YouTuber as a groundbreaking journalist. Here, he reveals who he really is, a delusional conspiracy theorist. And it's like, that's very interesting. They keep trying to discredit Nick Shirley by calling him an influencer or a YouTuber. But if he's not actually, like, onto something here, you could just easily prove him wrong, right? Like, when I got called out for shit I didn't do, I just posted the evidence. And Nick Shirley continued, saying, everyone be aware, for asking questions, they will call you a delusional conspiracy theorist. Meanwhile, billions of dollars of fraud is being committed. State representative was assassinated. I'm proud to be called a delusional conspiracy theorist by Tim Walz. Ask questions, do not assume the answers. Yes, I would like to get answers. I doubt we're going to get answers because the guy again seems fucking insane. Elon Musk retweeting at massive scale, it's the biggest vote-buying fraud scheme in the history of America. Which again, when we watched that video from that lady who apparently was potentially wrong because she had a lawsuit against her for the like Dominion voting machines or whatever. If you're bringing in people who are voting without ID, you wouldn't really need to fuck with machines because you just have human capital to do it for you. This guy said, I crunched the data again. I made the map again. The picture's now even cleaner. States without voter ID requirements are 16 times more likely to offer welfare benefits to illegal immigrants than states requiring ID. 67% versus 4%. And I'm assuming this P less than 0.0001 is some kind of like margin of error potentially. I don't know what that means. Someone who makes charts. What does that mean? Another map to add to the New Hampshire map folder. True. New Hampshire's the noticeably missing one. Yeah, it's fucking whited out over here. Dems are importing and paying illegals for votes. Details below. As you can see on this map, it says welfare for illegal immigrants. No ID required. Healthcare, 58%. Food, 21%. EITC, 46%. And any overall total is 67%. Where ID is required, healthcare is 4%. Food, 0. EITC, 0. And then any percent, obviously, 4. And it is broken down into benefits for illegal immigrants, HA for health, HC for health children, HS for health seniors, F is for food assistance, and E is for the EITC or ITIN filers. And you can see all of these states here with having, this one is HC for health for children, food, and the EITC. And this says healthcare children as well. Healthcare children, healthcare children, healthcare children. The healthcare children thing is also interesting because I wonder how many of these programs are like Georgia's Peach Care. Georgia's Peach Care is a state healthcare for children, but if you are a mother of the child, you can also get the health benefits under the Peach Care until the child is 18, I believe. And the guy continues, just one state out of 27 with effective voter ID provides welfare to illegal immigrants, Rhode Island. Specifically, healthcare to children. That's the 4%. 26 of 24 states without effective voter ID provide welfare to illegal immigrants. That's the 67%. The data are highly statistically significant across most categories. And this says, statistical comparison, no ID versus ID required. Fisher exact test for each benefit category. Health adults, no ID, 25% versus 0% with ID required. They have that p-value here, 0.0075. I do not know what the sig is, significance. Okay, so it tells you the significance of those likelihood number thingies. Health children, 54% versus 4%, and he said that was Rhode Island alone. Health seniors, 8% no ID versus 0% ID required. Food assistance, 21% versus 0%. And EITC, 46 versus 0. When it has the dots here, it even tells you, like, the significance gets even harder when there's the 3 dots. That's pretty interesting. A p-value of 0.2 is 20%. Damn. You just want to know if you should be pissed at your state or not. Well, if your state requires no ID, then yes. If your state is one of these white states, then you're chilling, bro. You just don't want to be a blue state. If you're a blue state, you're fucked. Now the above data were produced by creating 2 buckets, voter ID versus no voter ID. In reality, there are 5 buckets with varying levels of ID requirement strictness. With 2 buckets, I was trying to cut down on complexity. Here is the map with the 5 tiers displayed. Same pattern, but what I show next will blow your mind, potentially. So, I guess these ones are voter ID requirement. The white states are strict voter ID. The very light blue states, like it looks like, oh god, my brain. Arizona, the square one. My brain. Wyoming? Is that Wyoming? Not a strict non-photo. And then the little darker blue. Which ones are the little darker blue? Help, I'm colorblind. Hoosier represent. Yeah, you guys are fucking white, bro. It will blow your mind, no, dear author. I don't think you will. Yeah, most seem to land like in the middle, non-strict photo ID. I think you should have the strict photo ID. I think that would be like the best place to go. But I think we also definitely need to have fucking voter ID laws. It is wild that we're still having this argument in the year of our Lord 2026. Colorado had a lot of California moving. Yeah, unfortunately for them. He continues, the looser the ID requirement, the more welfare for illegals, not just sorta kinda. Rather, it is an almost perfect gradient, and the trend is highly statistically significant. The looser the requirement, the more the welfare. And it shows here the P trend, benefits for illegal migrants by voter ID tier. Strict photo, it's all 0%. Strict non-photo, all 0%. Non-strict photo, 0%. Healthcare for children is at 7% here for illegals. And 0% for health for seniors, food assistance, and EITC. Non-strict non-photo, we have 22% welfare benefits for illegals, healthcare adults, 33% healthcare children, 0% health for seniors, 11% food assistance, 22% EITC. No documentation required states, you have 27% healthcare for adults, healthcare for seniors 13%, food assistance 27, EITC 60. And then it shows you the significance trend percentages here. Even in your third world shithole country, you had voter ID longer than you've been alive. Somehow your TDS-riddled parents still argued at you that the Republicans were racist for demanding it. That argument literally never makes sense to me. How is it racist to demand ID? Isn't it further racist to say that people of certain races are unable to get IDs? Like that just seems like the more racist talking point. It should be noted that EITC benefits can also be provided to legal non-residents, but official sources state very clearly those who use such benefits are overwhelmingly illegal immigrants. That's why they're included in the analysis. In the first version of the analysis, I included cash benefits, and this was wrong. Cash benefits are general welfare benefits that are not limited to illegal immigrants. Not even California has illegal-specific cash benefits. Removing cash benefits made the analysis cleaner. Now, does this mean that a conspiratorial mastermind decided to implement illegal immigrant welfare policies and no ID policies in the same state? No, I think the better way to think of this is that political beliefs and policies evolve to advantage the groups that hold them. In this case, states with strong Democrat influence have created immigration and voting environments that heavily incentivize illegal immigration and voting by these same immigrants, giving Democrats, well, an illegal advantage. We should expect Democrats to pursue the same strategy across the country if they gain power again. Create a large class of dependents who can be expected to reliably vote for more left-wing policies. The trend is happening in America and all across Europe. Now, that's a very detailed way of saying leftists are importing and buying votes from a mass, state-dependent, illegal immigrant class. This obviously has long-term implications. Terrible long-term implications. The analysis update was inspired by a leftist who helped me to improve my analysis. He or she called me a fraud, so I decided to see if they were right. It made the story even clearer. Thanks, leftist. As a scientist, I appreciate your scientific input. Now, the real details. States without voter ID requirements are 16 times more likely to offer welfare benefits to illegal immigrants than states requiring ID. Key results, we already read those numbers. Zero ID required states offer EITC, food assistance, or adult and senior health coverage to illegal immigrants. Only one ID required state, Rhode Island, offers any benefit, children's health coverage only. The methodology, sample and unit analysis. The analysis includes all 50 states plus the DC area, and each jurisdiction is treated as an independent observation. The unit of analysis is the state, not the individual voter or benefit recipient. So he goes through the breakdown of how he made this chart in the first place, which is very, very fucking long. And he talks about omitting some things to make it cleaner, such as cash benefits, which makes sense. It'd be pretty hard to track specific cash benefits. We know that those are happening as well, as we've seen videos of people bragging about it. But it makes more sense to exclude that if you're trying to make just like a clean benefits map. Funny update regarding Venezuela. Looks like Cuba was basically propping up the Maduro regime on the security side. And the acting presidente of Venezuela is blaming the Jews for Maduro getting snatched, a Zionist tinge somehow. Make it make sense. Oh my god. Oh my god. There are a ton of people saying that, like, Maduro getting captured was a Zionist plot, and the only reason that Trump did it was because Israel owns the USA, and therefore anything he does is sanctioned by Israel. Where's that reply? Oh, this is another one. This guy saying, hilarious watching you lap up the Team America goy slop all day. I'll remember this the next time you spend all stream whining about domestic issues. Literally yesterday during my stream, I was like, all right, it makes sense if they've been planning this fucking extraction for months, that it feels like nothing is getting done about things in Minnesota, etc., fraud-wise. Hopefully now we see shit actually kicking off, because there's gonna be a fucking problem and no more excuses if they don't actually start going into Minnesota and taking care of shit with deportations and arresting people. Let Trump snatch Maduro because the guy is Putin's best buddy. The Jews want us to have Monroe Doctrine 2.0. Then you love the Jews. Oh my god, bro, even Count Dankula. Yeah, that's the comment I was looking for, which is below this one, apparently. But, Dankula was like, I'm just gonna say it because no one's getting my point. I'm astounded how many of quote-unquote our guys are cheering for something blatantly sanctioned by your quote-unquote greatest ally. And I have no idea where this is coming from. I don't know what fucking Netanyahu wants. I have no idea what Israel thinks of us capturing Maduro and giving Venezuelans their country back. And I also do not care what they think. What Israel thinks of, like, our military actions should be a complete non-starter for anything we do. Because the name is Israel, not the United States. So what they think shouldn't matter. It's the same when, like, France or the UK, like, chastise us for shit. It's like, I don't give a fuck what you think. You're France and the UK. It doesn't matter. Oh, man, not the rare Dankula L. The oil was promised to us 250 years ago. Israel controls both Venezuela and the US. These Jews control the world. People are a special kind of stupid. There are literally Venezuelan people who are just like, the US wants the oil? Yeah, I don't really care, because what do you think fucking China and Russia wanted? What did you think they were doing here? I think there was some guy that was like, did you think they want the recipe for like a rapaz or something? I can't pronounce that word. But like, there are some wild responses to like me saying this as well. Because apparently me being happy for Venezuelans being happy that they can govern their own country again, potentially, like, sure, shit might go tits up, and I don't want to be there if that happens. I don't want to engage in a war. We captured a commie dictator. Hopefully they can fix their shit. We came in, we gave them some assistance after 25 years of them doing everything they possibly could and getting oppressed and attacked and even sometimes killed for it. So we came in, we gave them a little assist, you know, it was like a phone a friend. I don't want a war. I don't want to be there for ages. Trump was just like, we're going to help get the, you know, transition to the new government, and then we're going to leave. And they obviously are invading Venezuela for money. That's all it is. They're not going to govern their own country. America will make a shadow government. I don't want a shadow government. If that's what happens, I'm going to be upset. And I will criticize them for it. Don't forget the commie dictator had a warrant put out by Biden. Yeah, Biden offered like, what, $25 million or some shit? You can't just mindless oppose anything just because Israel is supporting it, because you're still controlled by them. It's just the inverse. But I think it was one of the quotes on this. Hold on. It was like actually unhinged. That this is it. It's a liberal hawk move, like every single neocon forever war. It's not about American empire, nor hemispheric security, nor anti-communism. It's about the rules-based international order and liberal democracy. It's like always fucking nation building. And you know, if we went in there and we removed a loved leader and the Venezuelans were fucking pissed, I think most people would condemn the action. Because it's like, well, why would you go in there and remove someone that they elected and that they loved? That doesn't make any fucking sense. But removing someone that terrorized them for 25 years and continued an already oppressive communist regime, yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that, as long as we don't stay there. Maduro was anti-Israel. The chick replacing him is pro-Israel. That's the conspiracy. Also, you love a rapist? I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. This is our backyard. I was like, Trump literally told the fucking people in Mexico, he was like, yeah, you know, we're gonna be looking there. Yeah, it's like, all right, okay. If we're looking there, what's the conspiracy in now? What's the conspiracy now, since the lady running Mexico is very pro-Israel and got in mysteriously after a whole bunch of her opponents were assassinated? What's the conspiracy now? Venezuela was happy we did what we did while Hassan and Bernie were mad. That means we did the right thing. Yeah. Like, the list of people who are, like, fucking upset at this are people you really don't want to align with. Like, it's wild. Please invade England next. There's some fucking guy who made a tweet, was like, oh no, I hope President Trump doesn't do my country next. What would we ever do without Emmanuel Macron, who lives at, and like posted his fucking address. I was like, that's funny. After the Maduro thing, if we don't get arrest and prosecutions for domestic criminals for cash or from Cash and Bondi, they have to go. I agree. Especially after all the bragging about how fast and efficient it was to go in and yoink a foreign communist dictator. I understand that as a first world country, we have a bit difference in laws, that our laws are made for high trust and like just good faith societies, and communists and bad faith Democrats are going to exploit those to the best of their ability. But that's why the time for caring about optics and the time for actually getting shit done should be now. Sean Duncan, thank you. Can't stay as you're at work, but your noticer was noticing again. The only Venezuela residents you've seen are against what has happened are Twitter and Blue Sky artists, which means either one, terminally online, who are blind, or two, not from Venezuela. I posted that Venezuelan guy's super chat on Twitter because he said that I could. And there were people who were like, $50? That's like 4 months in Venezuela. That guy's not Venezuelan. He's in America. And it's like, wow. It's almost like he said the country instead of my country, because the man probably emigrated to the US like literally millions of other Venezuelans escaping the regime. Wow. That took a lot of brain power. A quarter of Venezuela has emigrated in the last 25 years. And hopefully, now that so many of them are happy that the regime has changed, some of them can go back to the country that they love, right? That is the hope, that you can go back and you can rebuild now that you're no longer under an oppressive regime. Somali fraudsters got luxury digs, beachside resort, rented Rolls Royce and Lamborghini with stolen funds. These are some of the lifestyles of the rich and shameless. The Somali fraudsters convicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal flaunted government-funded lifestyles and robust real estate portfolios with the millions of dollars they bilked from the federal government. Brazen scammers stole hundreds of millions of dollars of federal COVID relief funds, spending their loot on Tony condos, I don't know what a Tony condo is, expensive cars and real estate projects in Kenya, including 4-story apartment buildings and luxury resorts, according to court documents. How in the fuck were they able to spend our government money on real estate projects in fucking Kenya? What the hell?
Good question. You should ask him that when we get there.
USAID. Fuck USAID, bro. I'm so glad Doge actually did something about that. Lux Resort offered cottages and studio apartments to their guests. This seems like very easily break-inable. Mini insiders marveled this week to the Post at the sheer chutzpah. I like that word. Libin Yassin Al-Ashir, 43, who pleaded guilty in 2023 to wire fraud and money laundering, spent $350,000 from his pilfered payouts on a luxury resort. The lush Karibu Palms Resort, nestled on the southeastern border of Kenya along the Indian Ocean, just a stone's throw from the white sands of Diani Beach and the local shopping malls, boasts multiple 2-bedroom, fully furnished cottages for larger parties, as well as studio apartments. Guests are even able to hire their own personal chef for a fee. Damn, that's a mugshot. Amenities at the resort included a swimming pool, high-speed Wi-Fi internet, smart TV with YouTube and Netflix, and housekeeping services, according to the resort's Facebook page. A night in the MY Sun VIP suite, which features 2 king-size beds, cost 20,000 Kenyan shillings per night, approximately 155 USD, according to the hotel's website. Now, why in the fuck would you pay $155 a night to stay in a hotel in Kenya? That's a question I have. I feel like if I'm going to go to Kenya for some reason, I want to pay like 10 USD a night. Like, what the hell? Abidaziz Shafi Farah, who was sentenced to 28 years in prison in 2024 and forced to pay nearly $40 million in restitution, became a real estate mover and shaker with his fraudulently obtained government dough. Farah, 36, who deceitfully claimed to have served 18 million meals to needy children at over 30 sites across the land of 10,000 lakes, built Capital View Apartments, a luxury 4-store apartment building in Nairobi, for $1 million USD, along with other investors. The complex contains 3- and 4-bedroom apartments, a gym, and ample parking, according to its website. Amy Bach and her boyfriend, Empress Watson Jr., took multiple trips to Vegas funded by fraud money. I'm sorry, if your boyfriend's name is Empress, he's not your boyfriend. Damn. That car is very blocky. Somali people have money, these people have money, said a stunned TikToker in Kenya after surveying several apartment buildings apparently being constructed by Somalis in downtown Nairobi, according to a recently viral X post. Somali people, tell me your secret, he pleaded. The secret is defrauding the American people. Amy Bach, who prosecutors said masterminded the fraud operation, was a sugar mama to her former boyfriend, Empress Malcolm Watson Jr., paying him a $1 million salary as a part of a phony contract and spending lavishly while bamboozling the public money. Amy Bach, I think I have a tab on her because I think a bunch of people said that she was listed as a person of contact for a bunch of these fraudulent daycares as well. She was like the white lady that they paraded the picture around who was like basically instructing all these people on how to commit this fraud. The couple rented Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, and other exotic cars and luxury cars for $2,000 per day on their trips, according to court documents. I guess when you're spending other people's money, you can do shit like that. That is crazy. Whenever I have to get a rental car, I always try getting like literally the cheapest price humanly possible. Literally the cheapest possible, because it's insane prices for rental cars, dude. They also routinely took lavish vacations to Las Vegas and Graceland, with Watson Jr. flaunting his stolen wealth on social media. That's kind of wild, man. I was always taught if you hang around 9 broke motherfuckers, you're bound to be the 10th, Watson's Instagram bio reads. I think the worst part of all of this fraud is just once again, how smug everyone involved is, because basically no repercussions are ever faced for this shit, and it's very infuriating. Watson, who was not charged as a part of the scam, was accused of spending $680,000 on jewelry, cars, and other luxury items. Excuse me, why was he not charged? Ian Jama, who was convicted in February 2025 for fraudulently claiming she served 1.7 million meals at her Brava restaurant, was paid over $5 million in funds and spent part of her loot on a $365,000 apartment in Turkey off the Mediterranean coast. Can you imagine just how lavish a $365,000 apartment in Turkey on the coast would be? That's crazy. Jaden Smith. They've gotten away with it for so long, they don't even know how to feel shame about it, almost entitled. Definitely breed that entitled attitude when you're used to being this certain kind of untouchable privilege. More than 250 million was stolen by Minnesotans, most of Somali descent, in the Feeding Our Future scandal, with the nonprofit obtaining millions in federal child nutrition funds and distributing them to shell companies, duping the government into believing they were distributing food to underprivileged children, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. The shocking abuse of government funding in Minnesota is rampant, with Attorney Joe Thompson estimating that there could be as much as $9 billion in social services scams, with much appearing to be coming from the state's Somali community. I hate reading that. They never felt shame in the first place. They never felt shame. It's beyond their comprehension. I mean, maybe. You'd like to think that, at least when it begins, they were somewhat human with human emotions, and then eventually they were twisted by greed and power. Chief Andrew Gruel said, yes, Hugo Chavez, the guy who nationalized everything, crushed the free press, gutted the oil industry, packed the courts, normalized corruption, and set the stage for Venezuela's collapse, all while calling it for the people. Again, we are reminded of the sweet warmth of collectivism. Mamdani's sweet lies to the people. And he's quote retweeting someone saying, leftist protesters laud Hugo Chavez. They want to destroy the memory of the hero, Hugo Chavez. Viva Chavez. And of course, this is in Minneapolis. I'm so shocked that Minneapolis is once again ground fucking zero.
Chavez made sure that millions of kids who never had access to education would. He did so by sometimes using the Venezuelan army to seize the property of U.S. companies. He seized the oil and used that money for the Venezuelan oil, nationalized the oil to pay for social services. The quality of life for the poor in Venezuela skyrocketed.
That's just not true.
And today, the U.S. empire bombed his grave.
Yay!
They want to destroy the memory of the hero, Hugo Chavez. Viva Chavez!
This is like when people praise that fucking guy from South Africa. I don't know how I remember his fucking propagandistic military arm that murdered his political opponents, but I can't remember his name. Nelson Mandela, there we go. It's like how people praise Nelson Mandela, and he was a fucking psychopath, man. When they praise El Che Guevara and he was homophobic and rounded them up, they always forget the inconvenient facts. I had a handful of people at my high school who would wear Che Guevara t-shirts, and I'm just like, man, I don't know much, but I know you're a retard. Now let's hear how great Chavez was for Venezuelans from a white kid in America instead of from Venezuelans that lived under his rule. Please ignore the fact that retards of the Venezuelan military put anti-air defenses next to the tomb, so of course it'd be bombed. I mean, we should have bombed it anyway, regardless, right? There's this guy translated from Portuguese. His name is Italo. I can't read his profile because it's not in a language I can read. So he said, there's no such thing as I'm against Maduro, but I don't support what the US did. All the other alternatives have already been tried. They've already asked him to resign and he didn't resign. The population has already protested and he ran a tank over them. They've already held 3 elections and he frauded all of them. 95% of the country is in extreme poverty. 8 million Venezuelans are refugees in other countries, the largest number of refugees without a declared war. What other alternative? Wait for him to die of old age. Nothing's left but pure military power. I'm not naive enough to think that Trump is acting for humanitarian reasons. He's thinking of himself and Europe because Maduro is the leader of an international drug cartel. Not to mention the oil issue, even though its price has only been falling in recent years. And Glenn Greenwald, writing in Portuguese, responded, if the only way to oppose Maduro is by sending the army to Venezuela to arrest him, and if the Brazilian right considers that such a noble and necessary act, why didn't Brazil do that during the Bolsonaro government? Why do you always need the United States to fight your wars? Go fight in Venezuela. And the Italo person responded, if just the arrest of a bloodthirsty dictator has already caused this massive outcry, imagine if they started a war that resulted in millions of deaths. You yourself would be the first to complain. But let's go anyway. Brazil doesn't have the same military capacity as the US. 3/4 of his government was during a pandemic. Russia and China would also help Venezuela because of the oil. Now you talked and suggested nothing. What's your suggestion to resolve the Maduro issue? 95% of the population is in extreme poverty. 8 million refugees, largest number in a non-war situation. What should be done? Do nothing as long as Venezuela keeps supplying oil to Russia and China. Then you'd be happy, right? And I kind of have to agree with the guy. If they had gone to war over this, think of how many people would be killed. Right? I don't want my tax dollars going to like Israel, Palestine, or Russia, Ukraine wars. But I also don't like the death tolls going on there, and hopefully fucking some resolution can happen. And if we can go into Venezuela under 3 hours, remove a communist dictator, and the people of that country are happy with it, and we prevented possibly who knows how many deaths if a war actually broke out with South American countries trying to liberate Venezuela themselves, wouldn't that be a good thing? Isn't that a good thing if we prevented possible war tragedy? Because again, this guy's got a point. What fucking else could the people of Venezuela have done in this position? They would have just continued to be a hot point for Russia and China. You want to know how many guards they killed in those 3 hours? That'd be an interesting number to find out. It's interesting that immense power gap led to, ironically, way less of a death toll than if anyone else tried it. Exactly. And this guy's also got a point that if that war had broken out and tons of people started dying in some sort of like Brazil-Venezuelan war, all of the people in the US would be screaming and crying for something to be done about it. But instead of waiting for a war to break out, we just went in, removed the dictator, and fucking left. This, by the way, is a smart move on the US, since a war with China is imminent and removing oil from China war machine is good. Also removing an enemy puppet from our backyard. I don't know if war with China is imminent. I would hope not. Again, I don't like war. I don't want to think of war happening. Sure, it's good, but we have people in the US you want snatched up in the middle of the night. I do too. And I think that is a perfectly fine complaint where people are like, hey, you were able to do this in Venezuela. Can we have some fucking action on the fraud and the issues in our country now? Because there's a lot of people getting fed up with just seeing our government post memes on Twitter, and they can be fun sometimes. But I want to see more than memes. I want to see fucking action. If you have time to post on Twitter, please go do something. So Milei made a post in Spanish, and then they translated it, so I'm going to read the translated one. Milei said, there are no gray areas here. You either stand on the side of good or on the side of evil. The principle of revelation. On historic days like today, we can truly see what some leaders and opinion makers are made of. On the one hand, there is democracy, the defense of life, liberty, and property. These are values that many claim to defend, but they only defend them whenever it suits them. On the other hand, there are those accomplices of a bloody narco-terrorist dictatorship that has been a cancer for our region, spreading the disease of 21st century socialism, with its consequent misery and death. There are no half measures or gray areas here. You either stand on the side of good or you stand on the side of evil. And all those who do not defend the cause of freedom tooth and nail today are part of the problem, not the solution. We celebrate the fall of the narco-terrorist dictator Maduro. Argentina is ready to help in the transition to a free, democratic, and prosperous Venezuela. Long live freedom, damn it. President Javier Milei. What a Milei pig. Yeah, he looks like a fucking Timu Wolverine every time I see him, and I fucking love it. Arismador, thank you. There's little worse in the world than a fair fight between nations. True? True and real. At some point, Venezuelans are trying to negotiate taking out Maduro with a private special force, Blackwater, if you remember right. They were in talks with Eric Prince, and in the end, they never went with that plan, but it was a pretty strong talk like 6 months ago. I don't remember that. You see a lot of claims that Venezuela has nothing to do with drugs because most of the fentanyl comes from elsewhere. I want to address this. First off, fentanyl isn't the only drug in the world, and there is still fentanyl coming from Venezuela, or at least there was. Second, cocaine, which is the main drug trafficked out of Venezuela, is a profit center for all of the Latin American cartels. If you cut out the money from cocaine, or even reduce it, you substantially weaken the cartels overall. Also, cocaine is bad too! Hot take, cocaine is bad? Third, yes, a lot of fentanyl's coming out of Mexico. That continues to be a focus of our policy in Mexico, and is a reason why President Trump shut the border on day one. Fourth, I see a lot of criticism about oil. About 20 years ago, Venezuela expropriated American oil property, and until recently used that stolen property to get rich and fund their narco-terrorist activities. I understand the anxiety over the use of military force, but we are just supposed to allow a communist to steal our stuff in our hemisphere and do nothing. Great powers don't act like that. The United States, thanks to President Trump's leadership, is a great power again. Everyone should take notice. And I would say it's not even about just the communists stealing things and us doing nothing, but it's our enemies controlling that country as an ally using those resources too. Watching leftards defend Maduro while video of him running over protesters with tactical vehicles is widely available is crazy. He said, look, you can make 1,000 TLDR walls of text, post, YouTube videos, ranting about elites, USA, powers that be, Venezuela oil, etc. But sometimes the answer is the simplest, rawest human one there is. Maybe, just maybe, we hate Maduro and co. that much. The more you study, the more people become susceptible to overlook the simple answers in life. True, very true. Sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one. 27 years, and we have nothing to lose that we haven't lost already. Yes, it's not going to be a movie-esque happy ending where everything gets fixed overnight with a montage and a catchy song, but I reiterate, it's been 27 years. Gotta start somewhere, and that somewhere right now is Maduro getting blown the fuck out. Oh, that's cool and all, Mr. Caleb, but I see you wrote loose instead of lose. Thus you have lost the argument. You love all the think about how many refugees are gonna come fleeing the war, scaremonger. Brother man, this isn't gonna make more refugees. This is gonna enable us to send the ones we do have back. 1,000%. Because it's like they already had 8 million, I think was the number, refugees. Their country possibly stabilizing would mean they can go back. They can go back, brother man. He continues, yeah, most of the regime remains intact, and Delcy, the communist homunculus, is now the interim president, asterisk, alongside her psychopath brother who runs the National Assembly. But now they know what's the price for holding that power. Maybe they'll finally go through an internal fracture process. PSUV is made of several factions, like I've been saying for years. Maybe something else is what'll happen. No point speculating on ongoing developments. Whatever happens, happens. Again, analyze the situation from your personal perspective, insight, and overarching views of how things should be in the world, and friend-enemy distinction, etc. You're free to do so. But keep in mind that maybe, just maybe, there are 20-something million Venezuelans that just wanted to see this fat fuck eat shit. That's all. Many Venezuelans and Cubans were preparing coffee, arepas, and bread for the American soldiers, and many Cubans wanted to be nuked with them in Cuba so the regime fucking ends. There are good people there. True and real. Seeing a lot of the videos posted out of, like, Miami as well. Fucking crazy. A young man from Venezuela sends a message to liberals. Even if you don't like Donald Trump or whatever, we are happy, we are free. Do not try to take our happiness and our only hope after 26 years.
Okay? God bless y'all. God bless y'all, guys. If you're so scared or like concerned about our country, thank you for the army. Pray for us then, instead of trying to destroy our only hope and happiness right now. Yeah. If you really care about us. Okay? Please, just think about the people. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone. Do you know what? I'm gonna hop off and I'm gonna go cry and hug my family here.
True.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm happy right now.
And this is what I said. This isn't a war. We went in, we took the dictator, we got out, the people are celebrating. If the people were upset that we did this, I would be on the train of like, we shouldn't have been there. Why did we do this? Why did we spend time doing something that the people of that nation didn't want us to do? Why did we intervene? But this was 25, 26, 27, I've seen all of those numbers, years of oppression for the Venezuelan people. Like that other post we read, they've tried everything to get themselves out of this mess by themselves, and it just causes further suffering. So I think what we did is a good thing to have happened. The people there are celebrating. We removed a dictator, we removed a communist, get fucked, commie idiots. The Venezuelans are happy this happened.
You know? And if you ask any other Venezuelan right now, they're gonna tell you that we are happy. Even if you don't like Donald Trump or not. Even if we don't want Donald Trump or whatever. We are happy. Calvin, thank you, brother. We are happy. We are happy. We're free. And if you are concerned for us, and if you're like, oh my gosh, you guys are screwed, Donald Trump is going to take you guys, whatever, pray for us then. I encourage you to do it. And do not just try to take our happiness and our only hope after 26 years. You know? Elving! Thank you so much, guys.
In and out 20-minute adventure.
True, he said, not gonna pray for your ignorance.
What the fuck?
God bless you, brother. God bless you. I wish you never leave what we lived back in my country. Ever in your life. I hope you don't have to see any family members dying for not having power, electricity, or medicines in a hospital. Okay? God bless you. I hope you don't have to go like through that ever in your life. Ever, ever, ever. Okay? Much love. God bless y'all.
And it's like, he's got a very good point. Even if you're concerned about the power vacuum, even if you're concerned about, well, there's still Maduro sympathizers in positions of government right now, even if that's a concern, at least this gives the Venezuelan people a chance to do something now. At least since Trump said, we're going to help transition to the new government, and then we're going to leave. I hope he sticks to that, because Venezuelans should be governing their own country. I don't want to see Trump stay there. I don't want to see American soldiers stay there. I don't want to see us install some sort of puppet leader. It makes me happy to see that people are saying that the guys who won the 2024 election are going to be put into power. That's how it should be. Liberals are so fucking retarded. I won't pray for your ignorance. What a dumbass fat leftist who never experienced true dictatorship. True and real, unfortunately. Imagine a guy explaining how bad it was to live under a dictator and how happy he is that the fucking dictator is gone, and your response is, I'll pray for your ignorance. It's like, how dare you make communism look bad, you ingrate? He's the host of the Nate Friedman show. I don't know him. But he said, I showed a no war with Venezuela protester how Venezuelans are celebrating in the streets.
You should check out that communist flag over there.
What brings you out here today?
I'm organized with the Revolutionary Communists of America. We're out here to say hands off Venezuela. And we unequivocally stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialist aggression.
Okay, but that's the Venezuelans are happy, bro.
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets?
What?
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets today?
I saw images of Venezuelans being bombed after the U.S., bombed Caracas. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I think you should definitely
show me the bombings that you're talking about. I didn't see any.
I don't know. I just saw it on Reddit.
They bombed the tomb of Hugo Chavez. Get fucked, commie. They also bombed military depots.
It's on the front page of the internet, so
okay.
I don't know.
But what do you think about the people celebrating, the hundreds of thousands of people that are in the streets celebrating?
I have yet to see it. Can you show me that?
Yeah, well, there's plenty. It's all over Twitter.
People celebrating on the streets here. What do you think about that?
I mean, at the end of the day, I stand with the people of Venezuela.
But you're standing against the people of Venezuela because they're happy that Maduro's gone, brother man.
Against U.S. imperialism. The U.S. has no right to bomb the people of Venezuela. The U.S. has no right to kidnap another leader of another.
Celebrating? Why are they celebrating?
I don't know. Do you have a correspondent there who can ask? I'm here demonstrating against. I'm here demonstrating against. US.
I can't believe what the Venezuelans are saying themselves. We need to send a correspondent there to ask them to repeat it into a microphone.
Imperialism and the U.S. intervention.
Is this AI though? These images of everybody
I don't know.
celebrating?
You're the one showing me the video, so let me know.
I don't know if there's AI.
I don't know.
I don't think it's AI because it's being published by multiple news organizations. So just what are your thoughts on it?
I'm here protesting U.S. intervention.
I understand that.
U.S.
I get
imperialism.
He just fucking repeats himself. He can't comprehend that Venezuelans are happy.
U.S. capitalism.
It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. Like, yes, going into another country and removing their leader typically would be seen as a bad thing. If Venezuelans were upset, I would also be upset. Because why would my government go and do that? I wouldn't want to see it. There's times where it's like a gray area instead of black and white. Not everything is a very stark black and white situation, brother mans. As a lolbert, you're deeply pained whenever the government does anything, but even you can give them props for this one. Venezuelans are happy. A communist has been kicked out of power. All good. You'll take it. I'm the same way. And it's like, now that your like secret special op to get him kicked out is done, please fucking do something about all of the fraud happening at home. All of the shit in Minnesota, all of the shit in Maine. I'm sure there's worse we're gonna find in some other states. Please, for the love of God, do something here. We have Venezuelans across the globe celebrate the U.S. capture of Nicolás Maduro. Reminder that Chavez bombed Caracas, killing 59 Venezuelan civilians in his military coup in 1999. I don't know how true it is, but I did watch a Venezuelan talking about how they were happy that one of the military depots got bombed because it was like some sort of air facility. And from that air facility, they had like fired on students in the area. So they were like, yeah, fuck that. We're happy it got bombed. Venezuelans across the globe celebrated Saturday after the U.S. captured their homeland's longtime dictator and alleged drug titan, whose repressive regime triggered one of the largest migration crises in recent history. Jubilant celebrants took to the streets of the U.S., South America, and Europe in the hours after captured strongman Nicolás Maduro and his wife were flown to the States and indicted on a litany of federal charges. In the South Florida city of Doral, home to the largest Venezuelan community in the U.S., hundreds have been celebrating in the streets since 4 a.m. These look like fucking French buildings. This could have been a scene out of Expedition 33. They're in Madrid, Spain, close enough. Liberty, 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 the crowd chanted. The crowd gathered outside El Arapazo, a popular restaurant, wrapped in their native country's flags while banging pots and pans. The celebrants cried and danced to Venezuelan music, and some popped champagne bottles. I started crying. I've seen my dad cry 3 times in my life. His dad dying, Fidel dying, and today. It's historic. I'm very excited. We're celebrating thanks to President Trump and the U.S. military for this perfect operation, said a man who expressed hope for the future of Venezuela. A third simply said he had no words for the monumental moment. Similar celebrations were taking place in Madrid, Spain, as well as in Santiago, Chile, where revelers raised American flags alongside Venezuelan ones. We are free. We are all happy that the dictatorship has fallen and that we have a free country, said Cari Yanez, a Venezuelan woman who has spent the last 7 years in Chile. My joy is too big, her compatriot Jose Gregorio said. After so many years, after so many struggles, after so much work, today is the day. Today is the day of freedom. Libre Venezuela! Venezuela itself did not have any public celebrations. Security forces patrolled largely empty streets at the dawn in the capital, Caracas, in the wake of the U.S. airstrikes. Some people were seen carrying Maduro's portrait and embracing in the country's capital. There had been major exodus from Venezuela under Maduro's presidency, and the economic collapse his leadership wrought. Nearly 8 million people, or 20% of the population, have fled the country since 2018 after being unable to afford food. Roughly 85% of those natives migrated to neighbors in Latin America and the Caribbean, according to the UN's International Organization for Migration. That's an interesting statistic when you compare it to all of the people who fled Islamic countries, and instead of going to another Islamic country, they went to a Western one. Very, very interesting there, UN's International Organization for Migration. Maduro was indicted on a litany of charges with federal prosecutors accusing Maduro of leading a corrupt, illegitimate government that for decades had leveraged government power to protect and promote illegal activity, including drug trafficking. Maduro allegedly partnered with some of the most violent and prolific drug traffickers and narco-terrorists in the world to bring as much as 250 tons of cocaine into the U.S. by 2020 via go-fast vessels, fishing boats and container ships, or via planes from clandestine airstrips, according to the indictment. Venezuelan opposition leader, 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winner María Corina Machado, poised to take the place of Nicolás Maduro. Venezuelan opposition leader María Corina Machado said she and fellow candidate Edmundo González are poised to lead the country now that the hour of freedom has arrived. President Trump said ousted dictator Nicolás Maduro's second-in-command could take the job and make the embattled nation great again. I don't know about that. I don't think you should allow anyone in the Communist Dictators Party to take the job. I get he might still be a little bit upset. I guess his ego might be bruised that she got a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know why she got it. I know we talked about it on stream. I don't fucking remember. Machado and González, whose 2024 victory against Maduro was ignored by the dictator, are vying to immediately lead the transitional government in the South American country. And I think they should. If the people voted for these two people, then they should be the ones who take power, not a dictator second in command. Today we are prepared to enforce our mandate and take power, Machado said in her first public comment Saturday. We're going to restore order, release the political...
This is the worst thing to happen to communism since we showed that Russian guy a supermarket.
Wait, which Russian guy did we show a supermarket? I don't remember this. Are you joking about Stalin? I can't remember. I don't get fucking Gorbachev, Boris Yeltsin. Okay, I'm glad other people are confused too. It was a real thing. Gorbachev, Tucker, Boris Yeltsin. Boris Yeltsin in the most important supermarket visit in history. Okay, so I guess it's just a picture at the top. Damn, why is that a long fucking article? I guess it's just this one. Why does Boris Yeltsin just look like a slightly chubbier Clinton? After seeing the supermarket, he demanded to be taken to another supermarket because he thought it was Western propaganda. That's funny. That's funny. She said, today we are prepared to enforce our mandate and take power, Machado said in her first public comments on Saturday. We're going to restore order, release the political prisoners, build an exceptional country, and bring our children back home. But President Trump surprisingly said during his press conference Saturday that Machado doesn't have the support within or respect within the country to become its next leader. He indicated that he spoke with Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, who was to assume power after Maduro's arrest, as per the Venezuelan constitution, and that she reassured her willingness to do what's necessary to make Venezuela great again. See, I don't think this would be a good idea. Why would you let a dictator second in command be the one to preside over the country? They're probably just going to continue doing dictator things. Rodriguez reportedly fled to Russia, but the country's foreign ministry denied she was there. Trump declared that the U.S. would now take over running Venezuela after strongman Nicolás Maduro was captured in the dead of night. We're going to run the country until such a time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition, which please do this post-haste. I do not want people there for very long. Trump said at a press conference from his Mar-a-Lago resort as he provided new details on the stunning military operation. We're going to run it, essentially, through the transition, he said. Earlier in the day, the president said the U.S. guidance would be to prevent another dictator from taking over where he left. Experts, however, theorize that Machado and her movement are best poised for the takeover. I would agree. They are who the Venezuelan people elected. They should be the ones to take over. Venezuelan here, you and many Venezuelans have always considered the opposition a controlled opposition, mainly because of more than a decade of blatant voting fraud, and every time things headed up, the opposition would call to stop and be peaceful when everyone knows peace would not take them out. That really sounds like our spineless do-nothing Republicans over here. Also, the real head of the cartels and the government, Diosdado Cabello, is still alive in Venezuela. Maduro was just a puppet. Well, hopefully we don't see that guy doing anything. And it's a good thing. I think it is a good thing for Trump to keep people there in order to do the transition to the next regime. We should completely pull out after that in the hopes that whoever's put in charge will not just be another puppet. Even if we only run the country long enough to ensure the elected person is properly installed that's still running the country. If we immediately left, I think, as that Allegon guy said, the head of the cartels guy is still there. I wouldn't trust anyone in the Communist Party as well to do anything in a transition. They would just continue where he left off. If we're going to remove a dictator, it makes sense to have people stay there for a short amount of time to do a regime transition. I don't want another dictator puppet. I don't want another cartel puppet. I don't want a U.S. puppet. I think it's good to have people there to get the transition regime to who the Venezuelan people wanted, and then get the fuck out. President of the Economic Inclusion Group told Fox News Digital they would lead this transition period. The U.S. previously recognized González as the country's legitimate leader after he defeated Maduro by a more than 2-to-1 margin in the 2024 election. González ran in place of Machado after she was banned from running by the Maduro-run High Court. That's what it was. Maduro ignored the election results and remained in power. I'm so shocked he did that. Machado celebrated Maduro's capture on Saturday. The time has come for popular sovereignty and national sovereignty to govern our country. We will restore order, free the political prisoners, build an exceptional country, and bring our children back home, Machado wrote in a statement. We have fought for years, we've given everything, and it has been worth it. What had to happen is happening. Machado, who won the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize for her political advocacy, thanked the U.S. for fulfilling its promise to uphold the law. The opposition leader has been a strong ally of President Trump's, most recently publicly lauding his recent seizure of a vessel transporting oil out of her home country as part of his plan to oust Maduro. She even dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize to Trump after being named the 2025 winner in October. Machado was picked for the award for her efforts to advance democracy in the face of ever-expanding authoritarianism in Venezuela, despite serious threats to her life. She has been in hiding since the summer of 2024 when Maduro claimed victory for his third term in the highly contested election. In the months before Maduro's arrest, Machado indicated that her movement was prepared to take territorial and administrative control of Venezuela. And I wouldn't doubt it, like that Venezuelan guy in chat said, that it's probably just controlled opposition, but not a dictator. And if this is who the Venezuelan people elected, they should be the transitional government, and then they can hold another election. And if these people aren't good enough, they can elect different people. The issue is, do they actually have the support, or did the people just want anyone other than Maduro? For all we know, she's just another Scheinberg, the Mexican president. I mean, it's very possible, but again, it's not my country. I don't know. I don't know. They need a transitionary government, and it just makes sense that the people that were elected in 2024 who rightfully won would be the ones in the transitionary government. That just makes sense. And then while that transitionary government is in place, they can have another election at some point soon, TM, in order to see if they want to keep those people in power, if they would like somebody else, right?